guys, what's up, Mustangs? Boo guys, from back to Forza Motorsport 7 with a bit of a series I want to start, where I compare the DLC cars' speeds against one another, and go in a hill climb event. Now, there's no hill climb in Forza 7, but you can make one. Now, I'm not going to claim credit for the track. The track was designed by Mr. Fail Race. Not going to claim credit for the track, this is his design. I did do some minor modifications to it. So, he stopped at a corner, like a little bit further up. I decided to go a little further to the end of the mountain. And I was just using this BMW M2 as a test mule, basically, to get familiar with the track. And I'm very pleased. I like this section a lot. I really like it, especially in reverse. Because it is a reverse version of the Bathurst circuit. So, yeah. It's lots of very narrow, very scary, very high-speed corners. Where, if you get it right, it is incredible. And if you get it wrong, you will wreck your car and smash it into a wall at 100 miles an hour. So, it's a bit of a fine line in here, and I was taking it a little cautiously in the M2. But, yeah, it's a phenomenal track, as you can see here. I'll show you the finish line, and then we'll get into the times. Now, it's not going to be based... The cars are completely stock, and I'm interested to see how each car class will compare with one another. Now, I've already run all the DLC cars from previous, like the Alfa Romeo and the Trackhawk. You can see didn't go so well the first time around testing the track. And I decided to go for a representative approach for the Hyundai pack and the Fast and the Furious pack, because those have a lot more cars in them than usual. So I picked the Porsche 911 from the Hyundai pack as a representative for that, and the Fast and Furious Jag F-Type as a representative for the Fate of the Furious pack. So with my practice lap sorted, I got pretty good at the track towards the end. I didn't hit the walls anymore. I set out and did some laps with the new, very incredible DLC packs. And the slowest vehicle is so slow, I didn't even make a video. I didn't even make a segment on it. Because it probably would have killed you just watching it slowly go around the corners. And up next is the Citroen 2CV. Yeah, I actually managed to get wheel spin in the 2CV here. I love the 2CV. Just for the fact that it's actually in this game in the first place. Because it is, well, not fast. I think that is an underestimate. It's not very quick. Has 33 horsepower, 28 foot-pounds torque. Goes around 80 miles an hour downhill, 45 uphill. Yeah, it takes a little while to complete this run. But I love the 2CV. Haven't actually looked at what the upgrades can do. I'm hoping you will put a massive engine in it and make it like 1,000 horsepower. If we have 1,000 horsepower Citroen 2CV, my life will be complete and I'll be happy. But it's adorable. It's slower than a snail, but it's adorable. You can be flat out absolutely everywhere, though. Which, I mean, is a plus. You're only going 45, but it is a plus. Yeah, you gotta look at the positives. Gotta look at the positives. And, yeah. It is the lowest physical PI you can have in this entire game. At, E-Class 100. You can't... The only vehicles that are there are the Volkswagen Bus, the Volkswagen Beetle, the Isetta, I believe the, Woody is there, I'm not sure, and I'm also not sure if the Fiat 595 is there, it might be. But, yeah, I mean, the fast vehicle is already finished at this point, but it's, you know, it's chugging along, it's chugging along. It is most likely going to be the slowest vehicle ever around here, unless, like, the Isetta Bubble Car 2.0 is here. But, you know, it doesn't matter because this vehicle is incredible, and it's not, and I can imagine it will produce very good racing. Because it's a Citroen that has 33 horsepower, and it's all about that momentum life. So you gotta keep up your momentum, which means turning is absolutely spot on. And you see there, you're right on the edge at a whopping 50 miles an hour. Heading up to the line. Yes, the Citroen did finally complete its run, and then I went back to go finish the run. The Volkswagen 1600 is another vehicle that was added, and another vehicle I'm hoping to have a bit of fun with. Now, it's better than the Citroen, but not by much. It does have twice as much power, a whopping 61 horsepower. And you can see it has a little bit more go to it, but not much. Still just kind of chilling there, driving, like a daily driver. I mean, you wouldn't expect it to do very well. It's like E-Class 170 around that area, but I mean, at least it's more lively than the Citroen. So, I mean, I'm glad I drove this after the Citroen, because the Citroen was extremely boring. So, yeah, we're just kind of going along. Once again, another vehicle that could be fly out here, which is nice. You just kind of get your, unlike the Citroen where you could just go flat out anywhere. This one, you actually couldn't go flat out everywhere. You could go flat out pretty much everywhere, but there were some corners where you actually had to slow down. And, yeah, that was, welcoming, for once. Because it does get rather menial, just kind of driving and chilling and being bored. Because you're waiting there and waiting for it to be done. And it's just kind of driving, as you do. So it does get a little boring. This corner up here coming up, you do actually have to brake for this downhill section. Which is surprising, I know. But you see, the brake lights didn't come on for that corner, but because the camera was all wrong. But I did actually have to brake around there. Not this one, though. That was flat out. A little scary, because you can see the meaning on it. It doesn't mean a lot. And, pretty much the main objective for this vehicle was to beat the Safari. Cause I did all the other previous DLC cars. And, this and the Safari were scarily close. This is probably 60 PI points down on the Safari. Didn't quite beat it, but for a car, it's 100 performance index points down on the other vehicle that's four-wheel drive. That was pretty impressive, and across the line for the Volkswagen. So, the new Honda Veloster Turbo is here along its sister, the N. And I really like this car. The N version, I don't like the brakes on the N version, but this version, the Turbo, I really like. I don't know if it's just like the noise that you get from it, because it has a very big turbo on it. Very big turbo. Also has open discs, which are not fun as a turbo. But the turbo system is incredible. I love the noise it makes. It's very cool. And it just feels faster. It's not faster. It's 20 horsepower down on the N version, but it's just more fun. It feels so much more lively. It's not quite as controlled, if you get what I say, as the N. And this is a C-Class car, so we're not expecting it to shatter any records here. But yeah, it was good fun around this hill climb. I had serious enjoyment with it. And it's not going to challenge the top tier, it's just not. But it doesn't have to be. I would say this would go up against like the MX-5 style stuff. Because it's just fun to drive. It's low power, fun to drive, relatively practical. That is what the Hyundai Veloster Turbo is. As it comes around the final corner, heading on the turbo, going to take a little bit of a late apex, not too shabby. Yeah, I love this car. It's not very fast, as I said earlier, but it's like an MX-5 or a Fiat 124. It's an absolutely phenomenal machine as I cross the line with the Hyundai. And the next vehicle was, well, the car I'm building the auto show that was here for free to pack. This is the Hyundai Veloster N, which I'm sorry, they need to work on the name. I have no idea how to pronounce it. But it is a very cool little hot hatch that's missing a headlight and all that. And, yeah, I like this car a fair old bit. It has a bit of understeer and the brakes aren't quite so good. It's kind of like the Focus RS from like 2009. It's a bit understeer. Brakes aren't too good. They're not terrible, but you expect them to be better. It's just lacking power. It has 270 horsepower, which isn't bad. But when the Focus RS and the Mercedes AMG are pushing 370 horsepower, you're considerably down on them. Now, we're not expecting this to go faster than, say, the R-Class cars, P-Class cars, but it's a C-Class car right now, so it's a C-Class. Completely stock front-wheel drive, so I mean, it's not bad, especially for a front-wheel drive car, but I was expecting a little better, to be honest. It's not my favorite car. You see the understeer there. I almost crashed into the wall, and the brakes are, well, I wouldn't say average. I'd say marginally below average, at least for this lightweight vehicle and this little power. I thought the brakes would be better. Heading up to the final corner, though, the finish line is coming up, just a straight line to the line, and yeah, the Velostar, the Velocitar Part 1 is done. And this bad start, but not for the car though. This is another obscure vehicle that I love. 1968 Nissan R380. I've driven the R390. That's a fantastically fast machine. But what about its 30-year-old brother? And it's very impressive. It actually looks relatively similar, considering how old it is. And yeah, I will say it's got a little bit of understeer. Understeer is a bit chronic in this vehicle. And it makes a very good use of its power. It uses a phenomenal amount of speed for such low horsepower. It has less than 220 horsepower. Bear in mind, the Hyundai Velostar Turbo had more power than this Nissan. So, it's a remarkably good vehicle in terms of power usage, and it's just fantastic. Like I said, it has a bit of understeer, but the brakes are good, the speed is good, besides the understeer, the handling is good, besides the understeer, as I said. And I think it looks fantastic, sounds amazing at 9,000 RPM. Redline, very good vehicle. Yeah, not much to say about it, not much wrong. I didn't know anything about it. Got very close to the end of the stage, pushing it really hard, but didn't lose any time as we go across the line for the 1968 Nissan R380. Now, the new Porsche that was in the pack is, I love it. You can't go wrong with a good 1993 Porsche 911, but this one has been tuned up by, like, Lichtenschiffer. I don't know how to pronounce it. Not gonna try, other than that one. But it's tuned up. And it's fast. It's very fast and very fun. And it's a departure from the Subaru 360, the Citroen, the Volkswagen. It's a bit faster. And a bit more fun to drive. It's incredible. You can actually carry, 100 miles an hour around the track on average. It's not 45. I didn't even include the Subarus running because the Subaru was just so slow. It might as well have been in another time zone. It was not fast, but this is. I love how this car drives. It's phenomenal. And I've always liked the 911, especially the older models, and this is just. There's just something about it that looks fantastic. I love the look of the old 911s. And with this performance package, there's only 86 in the world. So it's just incredible. And I really like this car in the game. This is a great car. Handles well, brakes are good, acceleration is good. And down the straightaway, it's certainly not lacking anything. It is an A-Class, so it's a very nice A-Class car to drive. Yeah, overall, a very, very solid vehicle as it goes across the line for the Porsche 911. And the second fastest vehicle of the day was this guy. This is a Lotus Elise GT1 car, which I never knew that Lotus was involved in Le Mans GT1, but this is the road legal homologated version of it. Ignore the scratch up paint where I had nothing to do with that at all. Some guy keyed my car, real annoying. But yeah, I never knew this vehicle even existed, which I love this car pack for, because all of these vehicles, except for the Citroen and the BMW, are completely new to me, which is awesome. And it's a fantastic car. It does not have the power, it has less than 400 horsepower. But the handling around these corners is mind-bogglingly fantastic. It's not the fastest, but when you get it right, like right now, it is a wonderful experience. It's I won't say it's slow because it's an S-Class car. However, you're not going ultra fast in these corners. So, you can have these incredible sweeping corner after corner after corner with relative ease, and that is absolutely phenomenal feeling. And heading on to the final corner now, we are lacking the straight line speed now, almost get it straight up on the grass, but we do go across the line for the Lotus GT1. And finally, unsurprisingly, the fastest car of the car pack was this guy. This is a BMW M6 GTLM car. And it is very, very fast. It's also the most powerful car of the pack. 500 horsepower. Big old wing on the back. One downside, though. It is a little bit wheel spinny. You can't really get on the power very well, but it's up this uphill section. It really struggles getting the power down, so through this section, it was a little scary. As you see there, it got a little bit sideways. But we did get away with it. A little slow through there. Just couldn't quite put the power down. Once we got it down, though, it absolutely flew. Most of these corners were about 90-mile-an-hour corners, if I'm really pushing it. These are about 90-mile-an-hour corners in most vehicles. This was doing about 106. It was terrifyingly fast around those corners. I was not expecting that much speed out of the vehicle. That was also 97 miles an hour through that corner. Never seen that before. Even from the Group 5 Porsche, I don't even think that went 95 through there. But you see the back end is just wibbling around. But coming up to the final corner now. Not a terrible vehicle to drive, but certainly not the easiest one. Once again, pushing my luck hard, sending a sign flying through the air as we go across the line for the BMW M6. And on to the times. And this pack got some very, very good times and some very, very bad times. With the M6 leading the way in second place with a 1:23.26, faster than the Nissan Group 5 Silhouette, but slower than the Porsche Group 5, interestingly enough. Fourth place is a very good showing from the Lotus Elise GT1 car. In fourth place, 129.10. Very good considering it has about 350 horsepower. Seventh place is the 911 Lichtenbau package. With a 134.27, good showing from that. Helps with being rear engine, gives you lots of grip. 10th place, we have 4 vehicles in the top 10 with a Nissan R380 rounding out the top 10 with a 135.79. That's like Alfa Romeo Guia Quattrofoglio territory. Very good showing from that. Then we have the Hyundai Veloster N in 14th place with a 143.45. Not too bad for a front-wheel drive car, certainly. Followed up by his little brother, the Turbo, in 16th place with a 144.6. So, yeah, the N edition is certainly a second faster, very much faster than the Turbo, but still like that Turbo, still better to drive in my opinion. Then we have the Volkswagen 1600 down in 21st place with a 219.76. It did not do good. However, it is a fair few seconds faster than the Citroen DUC. I love how the Citroen's in this game. I love it. With in 24th place with a 2:36.3. It's a minute and 13 seconds slower than the Porsche at the top of the table. That's a lot. Sorry, 2 minutes 16 seconds, my apologies. And rounding out the very last thing, in 25th place, we have the Subaru 360. It just with a 2:43.382. It's a minute and 20 seconds slower than that BMW. The Subaru is way too underpowered. It has 23 horsepower. Could really use another 2 on the front. But I mean, like I said, this pack is a fantastic pack. I highly recommend getting it. It has some very good cars. It has some forgotten cars. And cars that you can just screw around with. But yeah, that's it for this episode of Forza Motorsports. I'll be back with more